This August the 14th Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content and contests, including our NFL Win Totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app to get last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Use the promo code SGPN for a $20 off. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, bear with me, 13th of August. And we are here with a little card for Monday, August the 14th. Now, Mig and Dylan often do world record Sunday night podcasts because there's only two of us and it's often a short card. However, tonight might be a proper sprint because it's 9-game card. We've only got 4 games on the board and it is a 2-man show as well. So this could be rapid, people. Joining me is Mr. Lonte Smith. Lonte, how are you doing, man?
Not bad, man. Had a decent week, so looking to build on that. Had a rough day today with the Nats and the Marlins coming back to take leads off of the Yankees and the A's. But other than that, man, I can't complain. Had a decent week. Going to look to build on that going into this card.
Yeah, I looked at the numbers on Tally Site yesterday, and you were flying, absolutely flying. You were something like 40-20 or 42-20 or something like that.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, razor sharp. And then tonight, just looking at these box scores of these 2 games you've lost on, mate, I don't know how you're still standing. So
yeah, me either.
There is
from your you and Barry's MLS pick. Well, not MLS, I'm sorry, but the football picks. They've been they've been keeping me afloat, man.
Oh, have you been tailing as well?
Yeah, man, always.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we the Premier League show was hot. Holy shit, it was hot. So Dylan's on his way to City Field tonight with extra beer money because he made a few picks. And I was just saying before we started, you can always tell when you're running hot, when you start getting a few DMs off people that you never really talk to. Everyone's like, oh, hello, mate, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Have you got any picks for Sunday? So we did really well. But Dylan's saying he's going for a few beers tonight. That is, Dylan, if there's any beer left, because I drank it all yesterday. So there might not be any. What's wrong with you American people? Do you have something called a pickleback? Do you know what this is, Lonte?
Yeah, pickleback shot. It's where you take a shot and you chase it with pickle juice. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, I've heard people do it. My girlfriend actually, I think she does it, but I don't know what the significance is behind it. I guess it goes really well with whiskey. Also, I drink whiskey, but I rather it be straight instead of pickle. I'm not a big fan of pickles or pickle juice.
Well, we found like a blues bar yesterday, sort of downstairs in some basement. I didn't even know it was there. We found there was a couple of people playing guitar, singing. It was really good. And then Big Dom got a round of these picklebacks in. Apparently, it's the electrolytes in the pickle juice, which is supposed to be good for your hangover. That's what he tells me.
Works. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Well, it hasn't worked because I've been on deck. Look at the state of me. I haven't put my ring light on tonight because I don't need to subject the people just to how rough I look. I mean, I had a shave, so I've got a face like a dropped lasagna, which I'm not happy about, and I've not been in a good way today due to the old picklebacks. Yeah, I was bouncing around town at like 1:45 this morning, which for a man of my age absolutely should not be doing. So yeah, but those two, the Nationals scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat the A's,
right,
and the Marlins scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat the Yankees. And you're telling me you lost on both of those?
Both of those. Luckily, I had the first 5 for Garrett Cole, and that was a little bit of a little bit of help, but I had more on the full game because I figured Cole would dominate, which he did, but I wasn't expecting the Marlins to come back. Especially, the Yankees, they do have their struggles, but their bullpen's been always pretty consistent, and they just couldn't put it together tonight or today. So, yeah, that hurt, man. That hurt a lot.
I forgot what I was going to say there. I'm sorry, I'm absolutely away with the fairies today. Who's in the chat tonight? TVDBJ. He's tailed the soccer picks as well. He's also telling us a tequila and pickle juice chaser is a Puerto Rican hooker, which is nice. Slick Rick, second time tonight. Rick, how you doing? Daryl, new name for me. Daryl Turner. Tell you what would have won tonight, Lonte. Oakland first 5. Man, why are we messing with the system? They've done it again. So tomorrow, like I say, short card, only 9 games. As it stands, only 4 on the board. I've got picture. I'm only missing one picture. I'm missing a picture for Atlanta. So we can kind of take you through games and we can give some leans. But yeah, we're going to be a little bit short of plays, but not an awful lot we can do about that. I'm going to tell you first about our new sponsor here. We've got a new sponsor, Game Time. And Game Time's business is tickets, which can be a pretty stressful business, really. I've had nothing but trouble buying my there's a new system for the season tickets at Newcastle, and if you want to transfer it like from my dad to my son, it's a proper pain in the arse. It's a really stressful thing to do. I had a similar for the MLB London series. That Cubs cards, the tickets were really expensive, but just difficult to sort out. And really, it doesn't need to be that stressful, and that is where Game Time come in now. Game Time is a really fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, theatre, anything that you're interested in. Game Time have the tickets. They've got killer deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee as well. So you can stop stressing over the tickets, start getting hyped over the fun that you have. I know a lot of people around the network in America have used Game Time and are really impressed with the service that they've had. Flash deals, last minute tickets. It's easy to use to find and buy the tickets that you want. That low price guarantee is a nice little safety net as well. So you can forget planning months in advance. Game Time's got deals on football tickets, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theatre, and more. And you get the Game Time guarantee, which means you always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticket app in the country. For a reason, you'll get your tickets in a matter of seconds, and the tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So create an account, redeem the code, SGPN, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Tomorrow, 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Houston Astros, Miami Marlins. 2 lefties on the mound. It is Framber Valdez for Houston. It is Braxton Garrett for Miami. Minus 148 on the Astros, plus 130 on the Marlins. Total, I've seen 7.5 and an 8. Houston were rolling, looking really strong lately. Altuve, Tucker hitting well. And then I think they dropped one to the Angels tonight, unless the Angels did something terrible in the last 3 minutes before we came on here.
Yeah, they lost 2-1. Yeah.
2-1. Yeah, because the Astros were on a little bit of a roll here. Framber Valdez, a bit of a head scratcher. He's been quite hittable lately. He's had one good start, but the 4 around that, he's given up 6, 4, and 5 earned runs. Those games have had a lot of runs in them as well. 13, 18, 10, and 25 in 4 of the last 5 games that he's been involved in. Braxton Garrett's been decent. He's 6-3 on the year with a 4.08 ERA. His last 3 have been good. Miami have won all of those as well. I mean, this was really hard to take aside. Miami at home are 10 games over 500. Houston on the road are 10 games over 500. It was all a little bit complicated for me. I was delighted when I saw 7.5 as a total. I absolutely think this can go over. Like I say, Valdez has been contributing a lot towards that. And Houston can hit anyone. Braxton Garrett is okay, but he won't hold too many fears. If you can find a 7.5, I'd take the over on that every day of the week, Lonte.
Yeah, I agree with you on the over. Yeah, Framber's his struggles do kind of concern me. originally before he went on this little, I think the 5 games that you listed off, I was kind of like banging the drum that he had been pitching better than his record indicated. He just wasn't getting the kind of run support. I think that was when Houston had hit a wall offensively. But now I think offensively they've been, on a tear outside of today. They've 7+ runs in 4 of the last 6. That's including today. They're 35 and 20. They're 35 and 25 on the road. I mean, I think the offense can carry him. You mentioned Garrett. I mean, he's not bad. He's not good. I don't really, I don't think he'll matter too much. I mean, Houston hits lefties pretty well, despite Framber's struggles. I think Houston can get it here. I thought they were cheap all weekend against the Angels. I mean, they were laying like 140, 150. I mean, I thought that was low. Even today, I mean, I thought it was kind of low. And they just the bats couldn't get going. But again, I think they'll bounce back here in Miami, and I think they'll get the win. So I'll lay it with Framber. Probably look at them on a run line for more bang for the buck here.
Okay. 7:10 Eastern next up is the Pittsburgh Pirates at the New York Mets. This is one that's off the board. Pittsburgh officially TBD, but I've seen Quinn Priester listed all day for Pittsburgh. Carlos Carrasco is going for the New York Mets. So yeah, no lines, unfortunately. Obviously, these I think New York are playing later on this evening, the game Dylan's going to, so that would contribute to that as well. But what are your thoughts on this one, Lonte?
Probably going to go with another over here. I mean, Pittsburgh, they looked good in the June series when they played each other. Obviously, 2 different teams. They won 2 of 3. They outscored the Mets 17-13. And, I mean, both pitchers have been giving up runs. Priester has problem with walks. He's had 3+ in 3 of his last 5. Got a 20-15 K to walk ratio, so that's not too good. 4+ earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. Carrasco's allowed 5 earned in 3 of his last 4 starts. He's been getting hit pretty hard by offenses. I mean, 8+ hits in 3 of those 4 games. He did pitch well against Pittsburgh back in the June matchup, 2 earned runs allowed. But, I mean, again, I don't trust either pitcher to settle down and get any outs. Pittsburgh's been pretty hot lately to the over. 8 of the last 10 have went over. The Mets are right at 500, but against Priester with his walk issues, I think they'll be able to score a few runs here. So I like the over. If I had to lean, I'd lean with the Mets first 5, but I wouldn't play them full game. I just don't trust them to win a full game right now.
Yeah, that's the huge issue, really, is under what circumstances can you back, or would you back the New York Mets to win a game of baseball at the moment? I think we've seen over the doubleheader actually yesterday that it's really just giving you how far behind the Atlanta Braves. I mean, they had one game that was a complete blowout, 21-3, and then in the other game they got shut out, and that really tells you everything you know. The Mets at the minute are so far checked out on this season. It's unbelievable what we expected from what they've become. And with Carrasco on the mound, so again, you don't want to take the Mets particularly, and you certainly don't want to take Carrasco. Priester, he's been all right. I think he's got potential. But I think in any circumstances here, you'd have to take Pittsburgh. I think we'll probably... What would you make these lines, Lunty, if I had to pressure you now? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's cool. I would probably say... Let me look and see. I would say probably Mets. I mean, just because Carrasco is at home and he pitched well in the first, I would say like Mets, like 150 maybe.
Really? You see?
Yeah, I'd say Mets 150. I mean, simply because they're at home, and I mean, I know that they haven't been playing well, but maybe that's a little bit too high. But I think Priester, his walk issues, he's been fine. Like as far as soon as when he settles down, but yeah, he's got to get settled down. And I mean, he got rocked in his last start. He got rocked, and I think he walked like 4 guys there too. So that's the main issue. I mean, the Mets, they do swing. They do have a lot of swing and misses, but I think some of his balls are not like hit. They're not even like close to being in the strike zone. So it's just automatic walks. So that's what I'm having a hard time. That's why I'm having a hard time trusting him. That's why I like the over, because I feel like he'll put people on, and then Pittsburgh's offense will be able to hit off Carrasco also. Yeah,
that's it. If you're not interested in Pittsburgh, then the over is the way to do it. You're absolutely right. But I'll take Pittsburgh here. I'll be a little bit brave, hopefully. If I'll come to your book, Lonte, if I can get a good price on Pittsburgh by this end. Rick pointing out the Pirates have got a better record than the Mets. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
7:20 Eastern first pitch is the New York Yankees at the Atlanta Braves. Completely off the board. There's no pitcher for the Braves at all. Clark Schmidt is listed for the Yankees. I have absolutely nothing else to tell you about this one. Lonte, have you got anything?
No, but just take the Braves team total over against the Yankees. I mean, Smith's been fine, but the Yankees, I mean, the Braves have scored 40 runs in their last 5 games. I mean, and they're going to be back at home. New York, inconsistent. Atlanta team total over is probably the best. I've seen Max Fried going earlier, but then they took him off. So I'm not sure if they're going to push him back a start, because he's still coming back from his injuries. They're kind of working him back slowly. But if it is Fried, definitely will later run line with Atlanta. But team total over is probably the best bet you can make here.
Yeah, it's an absolutely safe option, and something that you could point at now without seeing any lines or even knowing what pitcher's going for Atlanta, but you'd fancy him to pick up the runs required to cash that against Clark Schmidt.
Yep.
7:45 Eastern is those darn Oakland Athletics, Lonte. They go to the St. Louis Cardinals, where left-handed pitcher J.P. Sears will take the ball for Oakland, and the Lizard Man, Miles Mikolas, goes for St. Louis. Plus 180 on Oakland, minus 205 on St. Louis. Total sitting at 9. Sears is 2-8, 4.23 ERA. Mikolas 6-8, 4.20 ERA. So similar records here. Sears just missing out on those wins because of things like Oakland giving up 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th here against Washington tonight. Sears is reliable. Maybe a couple of earned runs, occasionally 3 or 4, but his whip's generally good. However, it is what a great example. I made my notes this afternoon before Oakland did what they'd done tonight.
Yeah, me too.
And that's the reason why it's so hard to take Oakland to win. Now, Miles Mikolas has had 2 back-to-back decent starts. However, St. Louis did lose both of those, 4-2 and 3-2. So they're still scuffling along. I don't think I could trust Mikolas. I mean, it's certainly not at that price. No one should be backing Mikolas or the Cards, really, at minus 205. I promise you I didn't do this on purpose. It's not a running joke. The pick is Oakland first 5.
Yeah, I gotta go with you there. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't imagine laying anything over like this amount with Mikolas. I mean, he's better at home. Especially against below average offenses, but that number is ridiculous. I just can't lay it. I mean, Oakland's they hit a streak where they were playing well offensively, and now they can't get it together. They only scored over 2 earned runs once in their last 5, and that's not including today because they scored I think 4 or 5 today. But yeah, I can't trust St. Louis. I'll take that first 5. I mean, they lost for me full game, but they did win the first 5. So I'll keep going to the well, man. I like the first 5 also.
Yeah, I love it, Lonte. 8:05 Eastern first pitch is the LA Angels at the Texas Rangers. Left-handed pitcher Patrick Sandoval goes for the Angels, and it is Max Scherzer going for Texas. Plus 145 for the Angels. Minus 175 for Texas, and the total is set at 9. Sandoval 6-8 on the year, 3.86 ERA. He's been really good lately. A 1.86 ERA in his last 5 starts. That would include really good road starts at Atlanta and San Diego. He's got a good start at the Tigers thrown in there as well. So he's been holding decent offenses. Max Scherzer settled down really well since his trade to Texas. 10-4 on the year with a 3.88 ERA, but you really need to look at his most recent starts since the trade. 2 wins from 2 games started in Texas. The Angels obviously got to win tonight. Still ridiculously unreliable. Ohtani Shohei, who hit his 41st home run. But as his start's been pushed back this week with a little bit of arm fatigue, if he starts to struggle a little bit down the stretch, if he just gets fatigued for effectively carrying this entire franchise on his shoulders, it's just going to spell darker days for the Angels. I think we're 7 weeks out now from the 7 weeks tonight will be the last day of the regular season. So it's kind of countdown time. Both these pitchers, I think, can go well effectively. The total's high, but I would prefer a first 5 under, I think, because the Angels are very capable of their bullpen blowing up. They didn't blow up tonight, which tells me they might blow up tomorrow. So Scherzer and Sandoval go well. First 5 under, Lonte.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. Texas is actually struggling right now in the game. I think they're down 1-0.
Yeah, they're down 1-0, yeah.
Yeah, so but Texas, they're on fire. I mean, like they won 9 of the last 10, probably like the hottest team in baseball, along with Seattle. I think Seattle's won like 8 of their last 10. But they're returning home. They're 40-20 at home. They hit the ball really well there. They've covered 7 of their last 10 run lines. They've scored 5+ runs in 5 of the last 6 home games. I got to look at Texas here, man. I can't trust the Halos. I mean, it's pretty much Ohtani or nothing. The younger guys were playing well early on, but it's kind of settled down, and they haven't been as effective. Sandoval, like you mentioned, he's fine. I mean, but the way that the offense of Texas is playing right now, I can't trust him here. Scherzer, like, he's locked in. I mean, 1 earned run on 3 hits. The run support's going to be there. I think they can absolutely blast the Angels tomorrow. So I'll go run line for Texas. I think they'll win somewhere between 6-1, 6-2. Maybe they'll be up 3-0 to get your under in on the first 5.
Like it, I'll take that. Daryl's saying the Raiders are winning by a touchdown. Is there NFL preseason started tonight? Is it like?
Yeah, well, it started actually Thursday. Yep. So this is the first.
Okay.
This is the first week. Yep.
So when I finish this show in like 15 minutes, will there be games for you to go and watch?
Only one. This is the last one right now. So we'll catch probably the second half of it.
Okay. I haven't done any NFL stuff yet. I'm so far behind. I've had obviously the Premier League's been going mad. We've had the Women's World Cup, still grinding out the baseball. I entered the SGP D-Gens League that Cody from the NASCAR show runs, and then the Guillotine League that Steve Shermer, the God of Golf from the Golf Gambling podcast. So I paid my fees, but I'm so far out the loop with my NFL stuff. I'm gonna have to get across to the NFL Fantasy podcast and binge.
You'll probably win. You'll probably win. The less you know, the better.
You think that's how it works?
Well, I mean, it just depends, man. Like if you cram, like you might get bias, late minute bias. But I mean, you go in with a fresh. Some people go in like that, and they just kind of just go cold and go in and pick and try to pick winners.
Well, I think what doesn't help is I always have to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to draft. So I have to get because these people refuse to pull the draft forward for me. So I have to get up and sort of draft through tired eyes and then wake up in the morning and think, why have I drafted 4 kickers? Just because I was half asleep. 8:10 Eastern first pitch is the Seattle Mariners and the Kansas City Royals. We have Logan Gilbert going for Seattle and Brady Singer goes for Kansas City. Minus 148 on Seattle. Plus 124 on Kansas City. Total at 9. This was one of the more interesting games on the card, Lonte.
Yeah, it was. It was a tough game for me, actually, and the lines weren't out whenever I was doing my notes. So, I mean, Kansas City, they played Boston really well. I mean, they lost 2 close games. They split with St. Louis. It was whatever, but they're obviously better than Kansas City is. Seattle, just like I mentioned in the Houston handicap, they are really, really rolling. I mean, they had a tough 4-game stretch where they went 3-1, and the loss came in extra innings by a single run. I don't know if you watched that game, but it was like Kirby threw a gem, no runs in the ninth. Like he was throwing a gem, and he loses 1-0. But I think Gilbert is going to be good here, man. He's incredible on the road lately. 2 earned runs or less in 6 of his last 7 road starts. He has a combined 7 runs in those games, and he's allowed 2 or less against teams like Atlanta, Houston, Baltimore, good offenses. And Singer's been pretty good at home, especially. I mean, I'm going to go with Seattle and Gilbert here. I just think Seattle has a little bit more to offer offensively. They're pretty good on the road, 3 games over 500. Kansas City struggles at home, little to no home field advantage. But it did take me a while to get there because Kansas City has been playing really good baseball. They're one of the teams that's actually fighting and not going away, like the Mets are. So yeah. I think they're a viable underdog when they play that hard. The younger guys are playing well. Bobby Witt's playing really, really well. But again, I think Seattle, they got a little bit more to play for. I want to say they are only maybe like 4 games back of Tampa, 4 or 5 games back of Tampa. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think Gilbert can get it done on the road here, so I'll lay it with Seattle.
Yeah, I think you're right. The price is like right on the money. It's a really tempting price for that. We often say like the unit and a half play at -150, because that was it was Felix Hernandez Day yesterday, and it was a kind of a fitting tribute to we got a sort of 10 innings of no run ball before Baltimore managed to get one over the line. But Seattle are playing really, really well lately. I know Blake Meyer from the Baseball Money is Fake podcast. He's a Seattle fan on the network, and he's really, really talking Seattle up at the moment. But Brady Singer's been better lately, and Kansas City are competitive as well. I'm torn. I've got first 5 under written down because I just think both can go okay. And so I'll stick to my guns, but I think Seattle just to the better team. Sometimes it's as straightforward as you just take the better team. Let's just take Seattle at -150, even though I think the odds are right. But yeah, I think Seattle can win. But I'll take the first 5 under as my official play.
Yep.
8:40 first pitches, the Arizona Diamondbacks at the Colorado Rockies. Officially TBD on Arizona. These last 3 games are all off the board, unfortunately. TBD, I think it's Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, that's what I seen him all day today.
You got him and Chris Flexen going for Colorado.
Yep.
No lines. Merrill Kelly 9-5 on the year, 3.05 ERA. So has had 4 games back from the IL now. Has given up 0, 1, 2, and 3 in those 4 games. So pretty reliable. I mean, he's a really proper steady Eddie, is Merrill Kelly. He's quite unspectacular. But that is kind of what Arizona needs at the moment as well. However, he started 5 games in his career in Colorado since 2019. 5.28 ERA in those games. So it's obviously a unique environment, and Kelly has struggled in there. Chris Flexen is 1-5 on the year. He has a 7.92 ERA. Now, I quite like Flexen. I've sort of followed him for a couple of years. But lately, he's been absolutely terrible. 9.18 ERA in his last 5 starts. He gave up 5 against Oakland in his last home start. So that's kind of enough for me. This total will be high. This could be 11 and a half maybe. But I'll still happily take the over. We can see a 9-6 or an 8-7 or something here. Plenty runs off these 2, I think, Lonte.
Yeah, both of these teams are struggling. I mean, especially offensively, Arizona is 1-9 in their last 10, Colorado 3-7 in their last 10. 8 of the last 10 have went under for Arizona, 6 of the last 10 under for Colorado. That's probably where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the first 5 under, thinking that Kelly and Flexen can, kind of flex the muscles a little bit. Kelly is kind of concerning to me. He left the game against the Dodgers. He was pitching really well. I don't know if you saw that. He was pitching really well. He was shutting them out in 6 innings, and he got pulled for leg cramps. Okay. So I'm not sure, what's going on with that. Obviously, I think he's going to start, or maybe that might be why they snatched him off the board, because something's going on. So that's something to monitor. But I mean, he's pitching well, and like you said, Flexen, he's not been bad. He's been getting up the home run a lot though. 6 home runs in his last 3 starts, 9 home runs in his last 6. He hasn't went over 5 innings in his last 2 starts. That's why I kind of want to stay within that first 5 under range, because if he can go, Arizona's not hitting the ball well, so I'm not really worried about them taking him deep. Maybe once, if that. But I think both pitchers can keep the ball on the ground, keep it in the park. So I like the first 5 under. I lean to Arizona because I think Arizona is only backable in 2 cases: when Kelly's on the mound and when Gallen's on the mound. Other than that, you got to fade him.
I'm with you. 9:40 Eastern first pitch. The Baltimore Orioles at the San Diego Padres. Grayson Rodriguez for Baltimore. TBD for the Padres. Think it's Yu Darvish. Mm-hmm. So again off the board. Lonte, much on this one?
Not really, man. This was actually a hard. I mean, anytime Baltimore is playing a good team, it's kind of hard because, like, I think you mentioned it. Like when they're in that little like plus 105 to like plus 120 pocket, they win most of those games. They're really good on the road. I mean, they've dropped 3 of the last 5, but they've struggled offensively, just as of San Diego. Baltimore 2 runs or fewer in 3 of the last 4 games. San Diego, rough week for them. Weekend, I'm sorry. They lost 4 or 5. They had one or no runs in 3 of the last 4 games. So, I mean, if it is Darvish, he's pitched really well at home, obviously. But it would be hard to do. I'm guessing that San Diego would be favored, maybe like 140, 135, 140 is what I'm thinking. But we'll see. If they're gonna give Baltimore, if they're gonna give me plus 130 with Baltimore plus or better, I'm probably gonna be on Baltimore.
Yeah, I've got Baltimore written down. Again, sometimes I'll try and reverse engineer my instinct to see if there's something wrong with what I instinctively think. And this was as simple as reliable starting pitcher with Rodriguez and a fairly reliable team against an unreliable starting pitcher in Darvish and a very unreliable team in the Padres. And I think Baltimore will be dogs. So yeah, I couldn't really get away from a reason to back Baltimore here. So yeah, that'd be my pick. Baltimore on the money line again. If the prices that you're suggesting are anywhere close, I'll be delighted to take Baltimore at sort of plus 125, maybe somewhere around that. Final game here is 9:45 Eastern first pitch between the Tampa Bay Rays and the San Francisco Giants. Tyler Glasnow going for Tampa Bay and San Francisco. It looks like Alex Wood again officially TBD with no line. So Lonte, Tampa Bay at San Francisco.
Yeah, I probably just lean to Tampa Bay if Glasnow's on the mound, especially. He's like I said, he's been pitching really well. 2 earned runs or less, 6 of his last 7, 8 plus Ks in 6 of those 7 games. Tampa, they went through a spell where they were reeling for a bit, and then they came back. They played well over the weekend. 15 runs in the last 2 games. So offensively, they've been playing well. They have won 6 of the last 10, 31 and 27 on the road. If they are a favorite here, which they might be if Glasnow's on the mound, maybe slightly favorite. They're like dominant as a favorite, 64 and 34. I mean, I would lean to Tampa. They got to get some wins here. I mean, Seattle's on, they're closing in on that gap. So, like I said, I think those high leverage games, you got to kind of back the team that's going to be playing for something. Because San Francisco, I don't think they're quite out of it, but I mean, they're pretty much going to be on the outside looking in. I think Tampa's got a little bit more to play for. That's not necessarily that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win, but I think with Glasnow on the mound, they're more equipped to be able to win this game on the road.
Yeah, Tampa have fallen into that category of being unreliable, which for a large part of the season they weren't. You look at the bare numbers, then yeah, there's still a lot of positive stuff. But it's home where they were an absolute wagon. I think they're 6-12 of their last 18 games at home. I listened to the Tampa Cleveland game while I was in the bath, as per usual. I listened to a little bit of the radio call of the Tampa Cleveland game for an hour earlier on, and they just struggled a little bit to put it together. They won their bullpen day yesterday, really, and that was the one game this series you thought they might have struggled, and then they've gone out tonight, and Zach Eflin, who has been along with Glasnow one of their 2 most reliable pitchers, just didn't have it at all tonight. Eflin, so the Tampa Bay bullpen has been worked over. However, if there is a spot that you're kind of happy to take Tampa, it's with Glasnow going. He's been really good lately. 1.65 ERA in his last 5 starts. Alex Wood's been bouncing around between the bullpen and starting. He either gets sort of long opening starts, 2 or 3 innings here and there. But he's normally good for 2 or 3 earned runs. So a decent Glasnow start. And Tampa Bay should have too much. Not a spectacular one, but yeah, they might win this 5-3. Something along those lines. And that, I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the 9 games handicapped as best we could. We made some picks. It was pretty tricky. Lonte, were you good enough to get a lock and a dog out of this?
Yeah, I can. Let me see. I can make something shake with this. I'm going to go for the lock. I'm laying the 150 with Houston. I think that's a little bit too low. Garrett probably get banged. He'll probably get banged around by the Houston offense. I mean, they're hitting lefties really well. I mentioned their offense and the numbers behind them. I think they'll go in looking to rebound. They had a little. They hit a little wall today offensively, but they'll be in a new city, and I think they'll get it done. I'll lay the 150 as my lock with Houston. For my dog, they just put up numbers for Texas and the Angels. Or was that already up?
Yeah. Texas minus 175. Angels
okay,
plus
so
145.
Right. So for my dog, I'm gonna take Texas on the run line minus 1.5. I think Scherzer and company can get it done. I mean, Angels in fade mode. I just don't think you can. I don't think you can back them right now, unless Otani's on the mound, and he's not. So, got to be in fade mode. I think Texas can smash him here 6-2, 7-3 type of game.
Well, see, I didn't have a huge amount of options here. My luck kind of follows yours because we can both win. I'm going to take the over 7.5 in that Houston-Miami game.
Yep.
Like you say, if Houston smash Garrett around as predicted, then I'm absolutely happy with that. And Valdez has given up a lot of runs, and Miami are good at home. So, yeah, plenty of runs in that one. That looks like that 7.5 is incredible price. And for my dog, I mean, I've got no choice. It's at Oakland first 5. I've only got one. That's the only dog of the 4 anyway. I'm just not into Mikolas at all. Like, minus 205 price against Miles Mikolas this Cardinals team. It's just unworkable. We've seen Oakland do it plenty of times. They did it again tonight. They were leading after through 5 and then gave it away. But they can score, really. I think they had 5 runs through 5 tonight. And that'll be more than enough to get that done. So, yeah. I will take Oakland on the first 5 as my dog. Lonte, anything else you want to tell the people about before we go?
Nah, man. I'm looking forward to this week. Hopefully we can keep it going, man. It's going to be, I think, some good matchups coming up. So, like pitching matchups also. So, looking forward to the week. Hopefully you can get some rest, man. Sleep off some of that liquor you drink.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a long, old day, let me tell you. But I'll try and learn my lesson. And I'll be better. I'll be better as the week goes on, boys. I promise. Thanks everyone who joined us. Do appreciate it. All the comments, everyone who's been in touch actually about the Premier League show. It's been a big old weekend for the community, and people have said lots of nice things and direct messaging and retweeted and stuff like that. So I do appreciate it. We're going to win some baseball picks. 7 weeks tonight. Regular season ends. That focused my mind a little bit when I heard that earlier on. So. We do appreciate everyone's input. Looking forward to picking some winners. Good luck with your bets. We'll be back tomorrow. And until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.